Applying the shapes that I've already created to my next pages are really easy because all I'm going to do now is copy and paste and make minor changes to each. So to do this, I'm just going to do a Control minus, for those of you on a Mac, a Command minus, so that I can see both pages 1, 2, and 3 together. Let's begin by making our lives really easy. I'm going to click on page 1, and I'm going to start with the large gradient rectangle. I'm going to do a Control C. I'm going to click on page 3, and I'm going to go Edit. And instead of paste, I'm going to paste in place. The shortcut for that is Control-Alt-Shift-V. I find that difficult to type in altogether, so I just go down to the Edit drop-down menu. You'll notice that it placed it exactly where I want it to be. Now all I need to do is take this, copy it, click on page 2, and paste it. Now I'm going to paste it in the exact same spot, just kind of hugged up against the edges. And you'll notice if you want to double, triple check, X and Y are at 0, width and height won't have changed. So as long as you didn't touch any of the corners, it'll work out well for you. Now take a look at the gradient. I would like the gradient to go from blue to white here. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to my swatches. I'm going to click on the down caret. I'm going to create a new gradient swatch. I'm going to call this dark blue gradient 2. I want it to be a linear gradient again. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the stop color. So I'm going to make the gradient ramp on the left. I'm going to switch it to swatches, scroll down, find my dark blue. Now I'm going to click on the other stop color, and I'm going to scroll up, and I'm just going to select paper. So now I have a gradient ramp that runs my corporate blue to my corporate white. I'm going to say OK. I can find my gradient dark blue, and because I had this shape selected, it automatically changed it. And as you know, all you need to do if you don't have it selected is click the shape and then click on the gradient that you want. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to click on page 4. I'm going to edit, paste in place. So now all of my background gradients have been applied. Moving on, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the blue rectangle. Now in this case, I want the vertical blue rectangle. I'm going to copy it, and then over here, I'm going to paste it on this page, and I'm going to place it at X 0.5 and Y 1.6157. Now I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it again, and this time I'm going to place it just beneath here. I'm just going to place it roughly there. This is going to be a horizontal rectangle that I'm going to apply an orange gradient to. But until I do that, before I do that rather, I'm going to change the X and Y. Make sure that your X is at 0.5 and your Y is at 2.575. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new gradient swatch, but before I do, I'm going to fill this with the corporate orange and add the corporate orange to the swatches. So I'm going to go over here to my fill tool. The color picker tool will open, and now what I want to do is I want to select my corporate orange. The corporate orange colors are CMYK 072 100 0. So I'm going to go ahead and add CMYK swatch, and I'm going to say OK. Now I have the swatch added here. I'm going to double click and call this orange. So I'm going to uncheck name with color value and type in orange and say OK. I now have an orange color that I've added to my color swatch, and now I want to create a gradient. So the gradient is going to run from orange to white. So now I'm going to go over here, new gradient swatch. I want to change the gradient ramp on the left. I want to click on swatches. I want to scroll down and select orange. I'm going to click on the swatch on the color stop on the right. I want to scroll up to paper, and now I want to say OK. Now I like that, but what I'd really like to do is I'd like to apply the stop at a different point. So I'm going to double click back on the gradient swatch. Now, take a look at this middle slider. Right now the location is at 50%. I'm going to decrease that to location around 30%. And you can dial that in exactly right here. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it more orange here, and then the stop will be somewhere around the 30% mark, and then it'll get lighter sooner as opposed to the halfway point. I'm going to say OK, and you'll notice that the change has been applied. So now I have another one to do, another horizontal rectangle, but this time it's going to be a smaller rectangle. So I'm just going to copy this one and paste it. I know that this one is going to show up somewhere around here, and it's going to be much smaller. But to do that, all I need to do is change the X and Y. So the X is going to be 4.333. The Y is going to be 6.02. The width is going to change to 3.6667. And the height is unchanged at 0.4297. I now have the next location for my smaller orange gradient. On the right side, on page 3, now what I want to do, I want to copy the vertical rectangle light blue again, this one, Control C and Control V, and I want to place it near to the top. Okay, once again, I want to make sure that my X and Y height are in the right location. So X is going to be 9, Y is going to be 0.6314. Width and height should not change. All these numbers will be found in the week 7 design document in your folder that you've downloaded from Slate. So I'm ready to move on. I do want to copy and paste the horizontal rectangle, the orange one, but I want to do that with the smaller one. So I'm going to Control C and I'm going to Control V again. And once again, I want to make sure that the X and Y are in the right location. So X is going to be 9, Y is going to be 9.36, width is going to be 7.5, and height is going to be 1.14. I now have a larger orange rectangle. We're ready to create a white background. Now you'll notice that each one of these, if I were to put text on top of these, I wouldn't be able to see much of the text because that dark blue could be quite distracting. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to create a white rectangle. So this white rectangle I'm going to go over and create within the center, because the last color swatch I had selected was dark blue gradient. That's what it's filled. But now I want to change that to paper color white. I can click over here on the selection tool, and what I want to do is I want to right click and I want to arrange, and I can send it to back. Now this is really easy to do. All I need to do is send backwards is Control plus and the square bracket, or you can click on this multiple times. So you want to keep doing that. You want to make sure that this is what you see on page 1. And here again, what I can do is I can take that and I can paste it onto this page, and I can send it backwards. So arrange, send backward, Control plus and square bracket. And I want to do the same thing here. And finally here on this page. Okay, I have a couple more things to do. I'm just going to copy this, Control C, paste this onto this document. The location for this one is going to be somewhere near the top here, and it's going to be an X 0.5 and a Y 0.6806. The width and height won't have changed, and I'm going to create the same box again at the bottom, and I'm going to place it right here. So now I want to make sure that my X height is 0.5, the Y is 9.6, the width is still going to be 3.6668, and the height is going to be 0.9 inches. Now I'm ready to start adding text.